What is going on, guys? It's your boy Vinny the Villain here, coming at you with some quick, hard news. We just had Sony's State of Play go down today, and there were a lot of negative responses to it, right? A lot of people thought that this is Sony's substitution for E3. This is where Sony's potentially going to announce the PS5. You know, a lot of high expectations for this event here. In fact, if you actually look at the video on YouTube currently, the dislike to like ratio is completely lopsided. I think currently it sits at about like 3.5 thousand dislikes and only like 500 likes. If that doesn't go to tell you how people really felt about it, then I don't know what will. Now, me on the other hand, my expectations I really tempered back pretty well because I don't know, Sony just didn't really say anything in advance to make us think that this is going to be like a huge platform for them. You know, if they're really going to use a huge platform on their own, then that's obviously going to be the PlayStation experience, which they hold at the end of the year. So there was really no reason to think that the State of Play was going to be a stage for groundbreaking announcements. So I was really going into this thing with no expectations at all. Just, okay, Sony's going to announce some stuff. We'll see what happens. You know, they already have their huge games announced. What else are they really going to announce at this point? So I would say, as someone who really went in with an open mind, I was pretty happy with this. There was one huge thing that happened at the State of Play, which me personally, my mind was blown on, and that's the VR support for No Man's Sky. Before No Man's Sky launched, before I got my PSVR headset, I really wanted this game to be in VR. That's something that I felt like was going to be a sort of a system seller for the PSVR. And of course, you know, No Man's Sky launched, it was received very poorly, and there was no VR support. However, slowly but surely they've been adding content on top of content to the game, and finally it's here. We have VR support for No Man's Sky. It's of course going to be a free update that they give you with the game. That I'm like genuinely considering going back, getting No Man's Sky, getting into it, and just yeah, pretty much getting lost in the game. Now, alongside that, there were other announcements there. Some new games, some old games that just, you know, that they've shed light further on. As far as the new games are concerned, at least ones that kind of caught my interest, we had the announcement of Iron Man VR, right? So it's just sort of this controlled Iron Man VR experience. And it's probably going to be something along the lines in terms of quality as far as like Batman, the Arkham game for VR. It's going to be a pretty controlled experience from what it looks like. Now, this is apparently filled with action. You're probably, it's kind of like an on-the-rail shooter, sort of like Rush of Blood was. And I think that's a pretty neat thing to throw out there. It's nothing that's, you know, making me want to run to the store and get it immediately, but it looks like a cool experience. Additionally, they announced a VR version for Friday Night at Freddy's is what I think it's called, or Five Nights at Freddy's, something like that. This just really weird looking teddy bear game. Never ever played that before. I don't know what any of that universe is about, to be honest. I just recognize that it's an established franchise that they were bringing to VR, and I thought that was a pretty neat move. Something else that they brought to the table was a release window for Concrete Genie. Concrete Genie, I believe, was originally revealed at a past PlayStation experience, and it caught a good amount of people's attention. Really didn't draw me into it. The trailer was pretty cool, and towards the end they make an allusion as to how the combat is going to be like. So I really don't know what the gameplay looks like for this game outside of a kid running through a city and you're painting brick walls. But now that we're seeing more of it, you know, I'm kind of interested. Will I spend money on the game? Probably not. You know, we have a lot of big games coming up within the next year or two, so my attention really won't be focused towards a game like this, but I'm happy to see that they're finally going to be putting their words to paper and coming out with the game within this year. Alongside some of those new announcements, we got another story trailer for Days Gone, and I'm getting the same impression from the game that I have been recently. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to score poorly. I think we're looking at about like an 80 Metacritic when it releases, and I think it's going to be a solid franchise. But the point of time that it's coming out in right now, after, you know, a post Last of Us game and post sort of zombie craze that everyone went through across the world, the game really isn't going to hit as well as it could have had it come out a few years ago. but I think they're doing a good job in displaying that they're putting an emphasis behind the story, and that's what a lot of PlayStation fans appreciate, is a good story mode. And then they topped the show off with a Mortal Kombat 11 trailer, and in this one they played on the idea a lot as far as the time travel, because you had a lot of old generation and new generation versions of these characters going head to head. It was an entertaining trailer. We saw some footage of Kung Lao's fatality. That's looking awesome. I think they're really knocking it out of the park with all these fatalities. You look at the fatality for Kotal Kahn, the one for Noob Saibot. I mean, they're really going all out with this game. And the story looks to be about, I would say, an Injustice 2 level story. I think they're gonna knock it out the park for the cinematics. I really hope they do a good job with the plot. MKX didn't have that good of a plot to me. I enjoyed the game. I freaking love the game. The story mode just really didn't do it for me. Injustice 2, on the other hand, I was really all about that, so I hope they can take that back on over to the Mortal Kombat universe. All in all, guys, I had, well-mannered expectations for this. I don't know what anyone else was expecting. I liked it for what it was. They're going to be giving us more State of Plays throughout the year to give us announcements. This must have been what Sony was talking about the whole time when they were exploring ways on how to bring news out to their fans. And this is an interesting direction to take it. It was their first episode. They didn't hype it up like crazy. We'll see what comes from them throughout the rest of the year with something like this. And I hope, as we get deeper into the year and closer to the end of the generation, they're going to announce some pretty big things. And who knows, maybe this is just a big build-up to the PlayStation experience, where they'll, unveil maybe the next PlayStation, or, maybe a brand new game. Who knows? Let me know what you guys thought in the comments section. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We appreciate the love, and we will see you next time here on the Council of Trolls.